Hello there. Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, February 17th, year of our Lord 2025. And I just wanted to give a nice, warm, absolute welcome to Vice President J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, President of the United States himself, the big guy. Happy President's Day, you two. God bless you both. All right. Yeah, well, listen. I work with a handful of Canadians, and they're good people, you know what I mean? Good Canadians. The one thing, though, that Canadians can never understand is that here in the United States, in America, when we have a long weekend, typically we don't take that day off. There is no long weekend down here. Sure, you can wish me a happy President's Day if you want, but you don't have to cancel all our meetings and stuff like that. We still work. They don't get that, though. They always cancel meetings on Mondays like this. They don't understand. Excuse me. Might get a little bit of that going on. The cough sounds bad, but I feel a lot better. Last week was just a brutal week. Oh, man. Everyone had the flu. And the week before that, all my kids had the flu. But I was laid out for like 7 days. It was just brutal. Absolutely brutal. But I'm feeling human today, so we're good to go. We're good to go. But a lot has happened, and we're going to talk about some of it today on the channel. And, and then I'm going to get to work. You know what I mean? Simple as that. First off, if you're a big hockey fan, congratulations to the United States team, man. They beat the bricks off of Canada. And it was just wonderful, man. A lot of fighting, a lot of aggression, a lot of big hits. But ultimately, what matters is we came back with the W, which is huge. And it wasn't like Canada didn't have the pressure on. I mean, Hellebuck, the goalie, man, he was all over the place, man. The first period especially, they had all kinds of slot opportunities, and he was just a brick wall. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I mean, listen, I know that Canada's known for hockey, but here in the United States, we play hockey too, and they play pretty well. Pretty well. Good stuff there. There's 4 Rangers on the American team. I don't know if that helps or hurts, but there's 4 Rangers on the American team. So there's that. That was good. That was a lot of fun. Then, of course, we had spring training start for the Mets. Oh, man, it's just exciting stuff, man. Spring training is when you first start to get the hint that baseball is coming back. And, of course, here in New Hampshire, I mean, there's a 1.5 to 2 feet of snow on the ground. But that's okay. They're enjoying baseball in Port St. Lucie. So, Port St. Lucie, they've got it figured out. Here we've got Starling Marte talking about how the Mets told them they're very transparent. They were going to try to sign Juan Soto, which is the position that Starling Marte plays. And they said, look, we'll try to move you. I know you want to play. We'll try to move you. But they weren't able to trade him. And so he's still on the team, and he's just willing to help out wherever needed. I love that. I love the transparency. You know what I mean? The transparency is actually a very underrated thing, especially in business. When I'm a recruiter, as you know, and the way I was taught to be a recruiter was there's very little transparency. Everything was a secret, you know what I mean? You reach out to candidates, you can't tell them the name of the client, because if you tell them the name of the client, then of course they're gonna do an end around and apply without you and stuff like that. And everything was a big secret, you know what I mean? And honestly, it doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't have to be that way. We can be very transparent with both our candidates and our clients. Because here's the thing, I think a lot of times the things that we feel like we need to be secretive about, honestly, it only hurts our efforts. You know what I mean? If I talk to a candidate and I can't tell him the name or her, the name of the client that I'm working with, does that do anything for our clients or for our customers? No, it doesn't do anything for our customers. I think, being able to lead with the name of the company, the mission of the company, the values of the company, that actually helps you recruit the right people. See, it's more than just getting a certain skill set, right? I mean, the skill sets, of course, they're important, right? But we also need to get the right vibe, really. People call this company culture. I don't really like calling it company culture, but there's a mission of a company, right? And if it resonates with somebody, we need to be able to lead with that. And not every company that has a similar mission is really the same. Obviously the specific company matters. And so we want to target people that, they kind of match the vibe, but also the skill set. And the only way to do that is to have a lot of transparency. And so I really, honestly, I was trained to be very secretive and sneaky about things. But I abandoned that very quickly because I could see how it was not helping my customers, and ultimately it wasn't helping my placements either. Sure, maybe I'd get the placement, but would it really last? Would it really help me in the long term, really partner with that particular customer? No, it didn't. It never helped. And so that lack of transparency, I think, really, it doesn't help really anybody in the situation. And here we've got Starling Marte talking about how the transparency was helpful because he's like, look, it really felt like of course, they wanted the team to get better, but they also cared about me as an individual. And I think sometimes we forget that in business. When we're engaging in business, we're not engaging like nameless, faceless entities. We're engaging with people. No matter what business you do, you're engaging with people. And the people in the equation actually make a difference. And it's not just the name of the company. I'm talking about lots of different stuff regarding transparency, salary, tenure of employees, turnover and stuff like that. Look, if you're working with a customer that has high turnover, it doesn't do you any good to hide that fact. You know what I mean? In fact, in the internet, you can't hide that stuff. So you need to address it head on. You need to be transparent about it. And I think that transparency is going to be refreshing for a lot of people that you engage with in business. I think, and of course, there's some transparency that's not needed, right? Like if you ever go to a restaurant, like a really good restaurant, you're not really worried that they're not telling you what their food cost is, right? Because really, at the end of the day, that's not what you care about. What you care about is the end result, right? So of course, there's a markup on the food because they're putting all this work into it before they serve it to you. So does it matter that there's a 3x markup on the steak that I ordered? No, it really doesn't matter. So I don't care about that. I don't need to know that. But what I do care about is, do you make the pasta on site? Like that's interesting to me. I care. There's certain things that I do care about. So I'm not saying it's got to be total transparency in every detail. I mean, obviously there's things that people don't care about, but transparency is so key, man. And I think a lot of times we think the ways that being too transparent hurts us. It actually is the opposite. It actually helps us. It helps us do business. So anyway, there's that. Here's Starling Marte talking about that. I'm not going to play the clip because he's speaking in Spanish, and I know a lot of you guys don't speak Spanish, so there you go. There you go. All right, final thing. Final thing. This is the drama for the weekend. That's for sure. The drama for the weekend. Now, this is not the account in question. This is a spoof account. This is made to look like the account, but it's not actually the account because that account has been deleted. Of course, I'm talking about the saga with Patriarchy Hannah. Patriarchy Hannah, she was a Twitter user, and she interacted with me every so often. I think I've maybe tweeted at her, I don't know, maybe 10 times, let's just say, in response to various things. And I've heard a few of her spaces and stuff like that. She used to do spaces every now and then. I wasn't big on spaces. I don't think I've ever really even participated in one, to be honest. But I've seen her and I've heard her on some spaces, and Michael Foster, of course, had her on some spaces and stuff like that. And she seemed like a nice lady, you know what I mean? I guess her story was she had a bunch of kids, like 15 kids or something like that. And, she had a patriarchy husband, and she was very in support of patriarchy. In fact, her club was the Patriarchal Wives Club. And so she was in favor of submitting to her husband's authority and all of this kind of thing. And, she was interesting. That's for sure. I remember one tweet that she sent to me that said that one of her sons, someone asked him what his favorite podcast was, and it was me, A.D. Robles. And I'm like, hey, sounds like he has good taste, at least in my opinion. But anyway, she was a fan of A.D. Robles, and her family was too, which, of course, I'm in support of, and that's all good. But as it turns out, it's possible. I don't know. I mean, I have no inside information on this stuff, but I saw a thread, that made the claim that this person doesn't even exist. It's like the waitress from Puerto Rico that in the Sopranos. No, I can't go there. Does she even really exist? If you get it, you get it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not gonna explain it to you. But anyway, so she's a made-up person. Made up. It's obviously a real person. There's a real person behind the account. But everything in the story, well, maybe not everything, but most of the pieces of the story were actually not true. That probably doesn't have 14 or 15 kids, probably has no kids. Married to a patriarchy guy, probably not married at all. Owns a town, I guess was one of the parts of the story, which I don't really remember, but probably doesn't own a town. Stuff like that. And so a lot of people feel betrayed. A lot of people are, blaming patriarchy. A lot of people are saying you should have known and all this kind of stuff. And, I got to be honest with you. Like, listen, I didn't know that she was a fake person, of course. Now, I don't feel betrayed or anything like that. Although maybe I do, actually. Because I thought I had a nice, fan. I thought I had a fan. And it turns out I didn't have a fan. You know what I mean? No, I didn't. Maybe I have some fans, but this one wasn't one of them. So it's a betrayal. Yeah, it's a betrayal. But I think here's the thing. Like, this one didn't affect me, and I'm not saying I'm like special because it didn't affect me. Because I know there are some people that I guess had talked to this person numerous times, on the phone and various things. And they had a relationship with this person that turns out didn't really exist in reality. And so, I feel bad for those people, but here's the thing. I think we all need to, this is one of the lessons we can learn here. I think you got to understand that on the internet, this is just what happens sometimes. I mean, people lie on the internet, a lot, it just happens a lot. And even the people that are real people like myself, I'm a real person. And, you've seen my face, you've seen my kids a little bit. Some of you have met me in real life and all of that. Like even people like me, you have to understand, like, we're curating our content, right? Like I'm not a fake person. Like, if you meet me, I'll probably be very similar to how I am on video, because like, I don't really have, like, I don't play a character, stuff like that. If you met my family, it's probably very similar to how you imagine it in your mind. I mean, but the thing is, like, there will be times where, maybe I'll argue with my wife about something, right? Like, maybe I make a mistake and yell at the kid for something, and I'm just like, there's no excuse for it. It was just completely out of left field, and maybe I just ate a bad burger that day or something, and like, I'm not like constantly yelling at my kids, but sometimes maybe I'm not quite as perfect as you think I might be with my children. You know what I mean? I'm not putting that stuff on the internet, obviously, right? And none of us are. None of us are. You know what I mean? I think so. You need to really understand that about the internet, that there's people that will specifically go out there and lie to you. Like when I found out about this whole situation on Saturday, I posted a few jokes, like, oh, maybe I'm starting to think that Boogie 2988, maybe he was lying about cancer, because that was a big controversy. He lied about cancer. I made another joke, oh, what are you going to tell me next? That Wes Watson never was a shot caller in a California prison, and he's actually 5'8" instead of 6 feet? Like, yeah, that's another one of these controversies. Wes Watson's a fraud as well, obviously. People lie, for all kinds of reasons, and people are wondering, like, well, why did she lie? Like, she didn't get any money out of it. Like, what's the point? Like, not everybody's motivated by money. You know what I mean? Not everybody's motivated by money. A lot of people are motivated by other things. And so you have to understand that. Some people on the internet, they just lie. But even if they don't, you have to understand you're seeing a very particular side of a person as opposed to the whole person. Right. And so one lesson we can learn here is that you should invest your own emotions, your own friendship, your own, like, you should invest yourself in appropriate doses, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much care you can give about anything. Right. And so you have to understand, like on the internet, there's a lot of fake stuff. That's just how it is. There's a lot of fakeness on the internet. And so my advice to you is not to never invest on the internet. I mean, I've invested in friendships on the internet myself, but you do it in appropriate doses, right? You have a certain amount of care you can give to people on the internet, and you have to, I'm not saying this is not scientific, but like, you predetermine like how invested you're going to get, how involved you're going to get, right? Because at the end of the day, those people only a certain amount. You know so much about their lives, and that's it. You don't know anymore. And so if you start to see an imbalance where there's too much invested on the internet, it's not in proportion to like really how much you know about these people. I think you need to take a step back, you know what I mean? And maybe reconsider how much trust you give these people, including myself, right? But the thing is though, and this is the thing, so there's a lot of fake stuff out there. Everything's fake, right? But that's not true. This is the thing. You can't get black-pilled here. You cannot get black-pilled. I think I said this a long time ago. Like, everything out there in the media, the internet, all that, it's all fake. A lot of it is fake. But life's not fake. You know what I mean? Life is real and life is awesome, right? And so the people around you, man, that's where you're investing much, much, much more, because your wife, your kids, they're real and they're awesome. And your community is real and it's awesome. And the person that was behind this account, whether it's Hannah or not, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to do a deep dive. I saw the thread. It was interesting. It was, there were some compelling parts to it. Do I know if Patriarchy Hannah is completely fake in everything that she said? I don't know. I mean, I've got my opinion, but I don't know at the end of the day, right? I have no idea. But there is a real person behind this account, and that person has a real life. And that person has, real relationships that she has and things like that. And this person invested way too much time into friends on the internet and a story on the internet, right? In comparison to their house. Again, according if this is really true, right? And it doesn't make sense to get so mad about her doing that if the whole reason that you're so hurt by this is that you were also doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you were also investing way too much into an internet story. You see what I'm trying to say? So you can be mad at Patriarchy Hannah if you'd like. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I'm not going to tell you what to do, right? But my suggestion is, instead of getting mad at the person who lied to you, just take control of yourself again. Take control of yourself again. I'm not saying be mad at yourself, but take control of yourself and try to and try to be honest. Like, did I invest too much into this internet story? Did I invest too much into someone I really didn't know? You know what I mean? I think probably for people that are feeling really hurt by this, the answer is definitely yes. You know what I mean? The answer is definitely yes. And I'm not saying it's your fault. What I am saying is you can kind of rejigger how you operate going forward, right? You can kind of reevaluate and redistribute your care, you know what I mean, in a more appropriate way. I'm not saying don't ever care about people on the internet. You should. Okay, I think the internet, look, people say Twitter and the internet's not real life. Oh, that's not really true. But it's proportional. It's got to be proportional, right? And so the people around you, your own church, your own pastor, you know what I mean, your own situations, these things are real. These things are important, and that's where the lion's share of your care should be going into. And so, Patriarchy Hannah, listen, I know you watch the show, you know what I mean? And I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, you know what I mean? But I am praying for you, for sure. And I think that the things that you put out there, right? If those things are not true, right? If those things are not true, even if there's embellishments, right? Like, let's just say maybe they are true, but there's some embellishments. The things that you are putting out there and obviously longing for to some degree, those are good things. Those are good things. And they're worth striving for, right? But you've got to take steps towards them. You know what I mean? It can't just be a fantasy, right? The fantasy is nothing compared to the reality of it, right? Even a fraction of the reality of the fantasy is awesome. I'm telling you, it is awesome to have a spouse, to have children, even if it's not the perfect spouse, even if it's not the perfect children and only a handful of them. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, I don't have 14 children. I've got 4 sons. I don't have my own town. I've got a house, right? But these things are they're real. Obviously, you have no way of knowing that, but I'm telling you, they're real. And when they are real, it's awesome. It is awesome. It is awesome to have a wife, and obviously, you would have a husband. It's awesome to have a kid. You know what I mean? A kid. 4 kids is, it's just a blessing beyond belief. You know what I mean? I don't have every single thing that I want to have one day, but the things I do have are an amazing blessing. You know what I mean? And God can deliver that stuff. God can deliver that stuff. That's where the lion's share of your time should be spent. It really, that's it. Caring about that, the real stuff that God has given you. And the thing is, God has given you stuff that, you may not have everything you want, but God has given you certain things. And learning to enjoy those and to care about those and to do what God says you should do about those, that is an amazing blessing. I'm not saying you shouldn't go for more. You can go for more if you want. But God has given everyone certain things. First of all, He's given everyone life. He's given everyone certain skills. And I got to be honest with you, like, whoever you are, Patriarchy Hannah, like, you've got some skills. You've got some abilities. Clearly, you do. You can have these things in real life. You really can. And they'll be awesome. You know what I mean? They will be totally awesome. So I'm praying for you, and I hope you're praying for yourself, and I hope that I hope that God grants you all kinds of blessings going forward. I really do. In any case, that's all I have to say. And again, I have no idea. I don't know if this is really as fake as everyone says it is, or maybe just a little bit fake, or maybe not fake at all. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to look into it anymore. This is the end of it. But anyway, I guess that's all I have to say. I hope you found this video helpful. I'm looking forward to having a very productive week. I hope you are as well. God bless you, and take care.